Welcome to the Write Academy. I'm Matthew R. Miller. If you're a new writer or you want to write a novel and you're not sure where to begin, or maybe you have written a book but you're not happy with it and you want to kind of start from scratch, and this also can apply to any writer, even an experienced writer, there's a few questions that you should ask yourself before you start that will make your writing easier, more creative, and more interesting to your readership. Okay, so planning a novel, there's a lot that goes into it, right? For sure. There's stages, there's outlining, there's also research, all sorts of things. But the first thing you should do is to ask yourself some questions like these. First, what do I like and what am I interested in? Okay, so first things first is if you're writing about something you're not interested in, it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be bad, objectively for sure, 100%. But if you're writing something you're interested in, it's going to be good. Because if you're bored when you're writing, your reader will be bored when they're reading. So you should choose some kind of an idea, a topic that you like, that you're interested in. Okay, so for me, I love horror, I love music, I love food, I love cooking, I love traveling, I love different cultures, I love languages. Those are all things that excite me or that interest me, So I'm going to write about things I'm interested in. Otherwise, it might feel like you're writing an essay for a school class. Second, what do I know about? Now, you may have heard that allegedly Mark Twain said, write what you know. There's two sides to this. It's decent advice, partially true. On one hand, if you write about a topic you're familiar with, it's going to add a lot of depth to your writing. If you are an expert in a topic or know a lot about a topic, you're going to have details that the average person won't know. And that's going to make your writing more three-dimensional and deeper. On the other hand, if we could only write what we knew about, we couldn't write about much, right? We wouldn't have horror, science fiction, fantasy, things like that. So you don't have to only write about the specific things you know. That's not the point. The point is that it's a good starting point, a good starting place. If you're writing your first novel, start with what you do know, okay? And even if you're writing, maybe you're writing a fantasy genre, you can know fantasy. Maybe you're a big reader in fantasy genre. You know all the tropes, all the characters, all the scenes, the way it's written, the styles, what fantasy is all about. Great, that's what you know. But you can also be creative and write about things you don't know. If you do that, you need to do the research, okay? Research is an important phase of a novel, of writing a novel. Very important. Every book you write, you need to do research firsthand. So you can do research and learn more, but don't write about something you don't know anything about because it's going to come off as inauthentic. Third question, what genre do I like or want to write in? Generally speaking, the genre of a novel is its classification based on content and style, right? So just as an example, a lot of fantasy books seem to take place in medieval England. I don't know, at least American fantasy books. I don't know why that's the case. Not all of them do, and there's certainly literature around the world that doesn't. But if you're like me, an American reader, and you read fantasy, a lot of it is based at least on the ideas we have about medieval England. Why that's the case doesn't matter. It's just the truth. That's just the fact. Other examples of genre, mystery, right? Thrillers, fantasy, science fiction, horror, romance, Western, dystopian, many others. So basically, when you choose to write in a certain genre, choose one that you like or that you want to write in. I love horror. That's just who I am. Since I was a young, lonely boy, having books as my only friends, I started reading and I read the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe, and I was instantly hooked. And that started off a life of horror for me. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But basically, that's the genre I love. And so I like to write in that genre. Even when I write in other genres, I always seem to somehow include horror. So choose a genre that you like or you want to write in. This will make, again, your work more creative. If you're interested in your work, so will the reader be. If you're forcing yourself to write, like if I wrote, I wouldn't want to write a Western. That just doesn't attract me. Okay, I've seen some good Western movies. Yeah, great. And if you're not familiar with what Western means in the U.S., it's a genre that deals with the Western U.S. in the 1800s, cowboys, outlaws, villains, heroes, sheriffs, Native Americans, that kind of stuff. So that's something I'm not interested in writing. So I'm not going to write a Western because I would be bored, and my readers would too. Fourth question, what kind of main characters do I want to write about? What kind of people interest you? If you just go sit and do some people watching, which all writers should, who are the people you end up focusing on? Do you like, what kind of an idea of a person do you like? An extrovert, an introvert, a rough rebel with a heart of gold, a sad, mopey introvert, an unexpected hero, a ghost hunter, people who have fought in a war, poor people, rich people. Who are you interested in? What kind of people do you genuinely find interesting? Choose those for your main characters at least. And certainly you can have as many characters as you want in a book, but for your main characters, it helps to have, to choose a type of person you're interested in and therefore know a lot about. Finally, ask yourself this fifth question, what am I passionate about? This is a little different from what am I interested in. So I have an interest, let's say, in astrophysics. I find that very interesting, but it's not one of my life's greatest passions. Maybe if I would have studied it in college, it would be, but it's not. And so we all have different things in our lives that create intense emotion within us, passion within us. For example, I mentioned I first read Edgar Allan Poe as a boy. I found this whole new world of excitement, of thrill, of language, of passion. So what really drives you emotionally? Is there a certain kind of music? Do you like history? Do you like science? Do you like dinosaurs? Do you like vampires like I do? Travel, food, sports, cars, different cultures? You know, what do you really like? Find it and write about that. So as you're thinking about these things, it's not to say that you can only write certain things, right? You can write anything you want, no doubt about it. But if it's something that you're passionate about, interested in, know something about, and have a unique view on, your writing is going to be interesting because you're going to be interested in it. You're going to reach these states of creativity where it's flowing, you're loving it, and so your reader will see that and be passionate with you. If you're bored with it and you're just forcing yourself to get through it, the reader will be able to tell, and the reader will be bored too. Have you ever known one of these kind of people who don't know what the hell they're talking about, but they're so charming and charismatic and passionate that people just believe it? Think about cult leaders, okay? A lot of them are just idiots, but they have this ability to be passionate, and people are attracted to that. Now, I'm not saying cult leaders are good. What I'm saying is, if you're passionate about something, it comes across, and in a positive way, and it can get people passionate about it too. If you're bored with it, people are going to get bored. And remember, what's the big rule in entertainment, whether it's music, writing, movies, it's don't be boring. You've lost your readership once they're bored. You're going to take them out of the immersion, then it's done. So I hope that helps. Sit down, answer those questions, write down some answers, narrow them down, and maybe that will help give you an idea of what to write your first novel about. I hope that helps. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. I'm Matthew R. Miller. You're watching the Write Right Academy.